Stormy weather, the best chance this morning. Will start to quiet down and dry out later this afternoon and evening, but another storm arrives tomorrow. We'll look at the forecast, the details coming up in a few minutes. Let's check in with Jobina and see how we're doing with traffic.
Thank you, Drew. Good morning, everyone. So we've had a number of traffic issues, and they are persisting right now. So we're starting here with a live look at the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. I wanted to bring this to you just so you can see that slick pavement out there. Even if there is no active rainfall, the roads are wet, and we have seen spinouts this morning and also flooding, which is why we're going to San Jose, where we have a signaler in effect right now on southbound 280 at Bird Avenue. At least 3 lanes are blocked with all that water, and according to the CHP, there is a car stuck in about 3 feet of water. Don't drive through standing water. That will happen to you. Down power lines and trees right now in Walnut Creek. Eastbound Ignacio Valley Road between Homestead to San Carlos is closed right now because of those issues in that area. And we also have cleanup underway, flooding and landslide cleanup. This is going to be from Fremont to Sunol on eastbound and westbound 84 between Niles Canyon Road and Pleasanton-Sunol Road. I'll talk about our mass transit issues when we come back in a few minutes. Reggie.
Thank you, Jabina. If you're just waking up, here's what you need to know about today's weather.
Flooding is still a big concern in many parts of the Bay Area, although overnight the flood warning was canceled for the Russian River. We have already seen the storms hit Santa Cruz County really hard, with much of the town of Felton underwater. Many roads are still closed because of flooding or mudslides, so you might want to take an alternate route if you live in those areas.
And more than 92,000 PG&E customers don't have power this morning. That is the biggest number we have seen since these storms hit, including our level 5 storm last week. Crews are working, of course, to restore that power to those areas. A lot of these outages are happening in Santa Cruz County. There's also a lot happening in the South Bay. And it's not just, of course, us here in the Bay Area affected. An evacuation order is underway in the Southern California community of Montecito. Floodwaters there swept away a 5-year-old boy, and the storms are being blamed now overall in the state for at least 14 deaths.
There is some good news for people in Sonoma County. The flood warning is now canceled for the Russian River, but those in the area are not out of the woods just yet. ABC7 News reporter Gloria Rodriguez in Guerneville now with how it looks this morning. Hi, Gloria.
Good morning, Kumasha. You're right about that. There are still concerns about those low-lying areas near the river, though there is some relief for residents because they did cancel that flood warning for the Russian River. While we were trying to get up here to Guerneville, we ran into this. Check out this footage right here. There's a huge tree that was blocking River Road in Sonoma County. That's a main road going into Guerneville. Officials say it came down about 3 o'clock this morning. Crews have now cleared the road, though. And check this out. The parking lot at Steel.
What we woke up to was just more of a mess. We've got trees down, we've got mudslides, we've got folks actually trapped in areas where we had major road failures. It's amazing. And this is the fire district.
Submerged in floodwater at Slusser and River Roads just outside of Santa Rosa. Fire crews helping rescue the driver trapped in a Mercedes. Let's see if we can hear from a resident there. All right, and so the District 5 Supervisor Linda Hopkins says eyes continue to be on the Russian River this morning. They do have some information on Sonoma County's website for those who do need to leave their home because of flooding. Live in Sonoma County, Gloria Rodriguez, ABC7 News.
Gloria, thank you. And sticking in the North Bay, Napa County is bracing for even more potentially dangerous winds and rain. Floodwaters are receding in some areas, but some intersections in Sonoma County are still flooded out from the recent New Year's storm. ABC7 found some people that voiced their high frustration with flooded roads near Big Bend.
I can't go down there. They spent a lot of money on it, and they didn't even think about the flooding.
With the road closure, it slows us down and it keeps people, out of work all around us.
Drivers were sitting in traffic just to try and get around most of the flooded spots of roads in Sonoma County. At last check, road closures are still in place because of heavy rain that is expected this morning.
Santa Cruz County has been among the hardest hit parts of our region. Yesterday, many parts of the town of Felton were underwater. ABC7 News reporter Lena Howland is live there with how it looks like now. Lena?
Hey there, good morning. We are in the community of Felton, where this community is not only waking up mostly in the dark without power, but they are waking up to a muddy mess after most of the water from yesterday's flooding has receded. And another issue this community is running into today is roadblocks, just like this one you see set up right behind us here. Santa Cruz County Sheriff's deputies are blocking off part of Highway 9 here behind us because they say the road is just not safe to pass at this moment because of downed power lines and trees down all over the road. In fact, just moments ago, we saw Caltrans crews going in with plows to work on sort of clearing out that roadway. Now, I want to show you some drone video capturing homes completely surrounded by floodwaters from the San Lorenzo River yesterday up here. The river hit its crest of 24.52 feet around 7:45 yesterday morning, the second highest mark in modern history, dating back to 1937. Elsewhere in Felton, some of the iconic town sites like the landmark covered bridge completely flooded. Water began to recede after that, but residents in the area who did not evacuate had no other place to go.
We had the trifecta with the mudslides and the trees down and flooding, and so we are kind of trapped up here in our one-way out canyon.
And for folks like Cindy, who you just heard from, there are 2 evacuation centers open for this community, still very important as this entire area appears to be without power. Take a look at your screen. One is at the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds in Watsonville, and another is set up at the Cabrillo College in Aptos. Both areas are pet friendly and also have RV parking. So if you do plan to be out here in the Felton area, or if you live up here and need to be driving around, be sure to be proceeding with caution and drive slowly, as there is still debris all over the roadways and the potential for more trees to fall throughout the day as the wind picks up. Live in Santa Cruz County, Lena Howland, ABC7 News.
All right, thank you, Lena. Now, we just got new information about the power outages we've been tracking this morning. PG&E has let us know more than 92,000 customers do not have power right now across the Bay Area. And if you look at this map, you can see just how widespread that the outages are. We see a lot of outages, the biggest actually in the South Bay. And of course, we'll keep you updated as soon as those outages are reported throughout the morning. Coming up, how the storm is causing some big issues for people in the peninsula.
And the golf game that got interrupted when heavy rains and winds rolled in.
And we're on Storm Watch. We're looking at live Doppler 7. I want to press into a very heavy cell we're about to see move through parts of San Francisco and southern Marin County. This is very heavy rain, and likely some hail is going to fall. It's on its way into the Sunset right now, moving to the Richmond district in about 5 minutes, on its way into the Presidio and parts of the Marina. We're going to track this cell and also show you a stormy pattern the next 2 days coming up right after the break. We're back with Live Doppler 7. I want to continue to highlight this strong cell that is moving through the city right now. On Live Doppler 7, when you see these very deep reds, it's not only an indication of almost blinding rain, but also an indication that we're likely seeing hail in the sunset right now. And this cell is pushing off. It's about to cross 19th in a second. As it moves off to the north and east, it'll move into the Richmond district at about 6:19, the Marina around 6:24, Tiburon around 6:31, Richmond around 6:44. Of course, you want to stay inside if you do see hail. This could also have some lightning with it as well. That is the threat we're under this morning. We have these cells popping up that create some very strong, brief, gusty winds and also downpours and hail. Look at the winds area wide. We have these winds gusting close to 50 right now at SFO, 37 that current wind gust in Oakland. Future weather, we're underneath that threat for scattered downpours and thunderstorms throughout the rest of the morning. It's not until about 2 p.m. we see these storms get out of here for a quieter and drier afternoon and evening on the way. It's a level 2, a moderate storm on the exclusive ABC7 storm impact scale. We have flood watches in effect and wind advisories in effect through 4 p.m. today. We'll look at the extended forecast coming up in 7 minutes. Let's check in with Jobina and see how we're doing with traffic this morning.
Thank you, Drew. Good morning, everyone. So I told you I'd update you on mass transit, so we will start with that. And BART, system-wide delays. Again, it's kind of the pattern here when we have this tough weather here. So they're asking you to plan an extra 20 minutes. Add that to your trip because trains are running at lower speeds. A live picture here of the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. It's hard to tell from the camera, but I was seeing the rain just come down here moments ago. Metering lights came on at 5:42. You're not seeing a significant backup in this area, but you certainly will if you're moving through Hercules right now. We have a major crash reported on westbound 80 right at westbound 4. Speeds down to around 7 miles per hour here. Multiple cars are involved here. Multiple lanes are blocked as well. And we're learning that we have no estimated time as to when that will all reopen. The roads are slick, so please be careful. We also have flooding reported. This is going to be a second SIG alert in San Jose, southbound 280 at Bird Avenue. The CHP is reporting around 3 feet of water in this area. Kamasi.
Jobina. Still to come, the new law that could be a welcome change for millions who are still trying to pay off their student loans. Then classified documents found in President Biden's former office. Why experts say this isn't the same situation as the one facing former President Trump. Can we switch it?
Developing news this morning, classified documents from President Biden's time as vice president have been discovered in a private office. They were actually found in the fall although the Biden administration is just now acknowledging their existence. Jobina, the White House is arguing this is a different situation than the documents found at former President Trump's home in Florida.
Yes, Reggie. So the White House says a small number of classified documents were found in a locked closet on November 2nd as the president's personal attorneys were packing an office he no longer uses at the Penn Biden Center. The National Archives confirms the documents were turned over the next day. ABC News has confirmed the Justice Department has launched an investigation into what happened. While this seems similar to the investigation into classified documents kept at former President Trump's home in Florida, the White House is underscoring here the documents were not the subject of a National Archives request, which makes this very different.
This appears to be a wildly different, at least at this stage, situation than what former President Donald Trump is facing with the criminal investigation into his alleged mishandling of classified documents after leaving the presidency.
President Biden was asked about the discovery last night in Mexico City, but he did not comment. Sources tell ABC News Attorney General Merrick Garland is assigning U.S. Attorney John Lausch to head this review. The Trump appointee will investigate the chain of possession of the classified documents. Reggie.
Thank you, Jobina. New at 6, a warning for parents. The manufacturer of a baby sleeper blamed for the deaths of more than 100 infants have now reissued a recall, and parents should stop using this product immediately. We're talking about the Fisher-Price Rock-and-Play sleeper. This recall was first issued in 2019 after more than 30 children died. And since then, more than 70 more children have died. The sleepers were sold from 2009 to 2019 at major retailers like Walmart, Target, and Amazon. Again, if you still have one of these, you should stop using it immediately. Longtime Supervisor Aaron Peskin has been elected as the next president for the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. According to the Chronicle, he was elected yesterday in a 7-4 vote among 3 other candidates. After 17 rounds of voting, Peskin finally gained the majority to become president. He is no stranger to that position. He's already served as president twice in the early 2000s. When his current term ends, he'll not be able to run for re-election in January of 2025 because of term limits.
New at 6, there could be some relief for student loan borrowers coming later this year. Today, the Department of Education will start the process of onboarding a new Biden loan repayment program. So this new plan would revise the current income-driven repayment program in the following ways. Low-income individuals and families will not be required to pay any loans. The baseline percentage of loan deducted from your paycheck will decrease from 10 to 5%, and interest will not continue to accumulate. Also, after 10 years of payments, any remaining borrowers who initially took less than $12,000 will be absolved. I love to hear about savings.
Yes. About money not taken out of your account.
Yes, keep my money in my account.
Watch that number rise. Always nice. It is always nice. Over the city right now, we do have a really strong cell I want to get to.
I just heard it.
You heard it, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to go get some tea, and it was coming down hard.
Yeah, and people on social media are saying they see hail right now in the city.
What?
So that's what we're seeing out there, and that's the threat we have this morning. These things are popping up pretty quickly, and that's what we're going to have to deal with through the next 6 to 8 hours. We'll zoom on into the city right now. Here's the last 30 minutes, and you can see as this cell across through the Sunset into the Richmond, the Western Addition, the Marina, into Chinatown, had bright colors, these reds on your screen indicating we saw some hail, even some blinding rain. So I want to track this cell as it moves off to the north and east. It's moving at about 30 miles per hour. So moving into Emeryville about 6:34 this morning, Berkeley around 6:37. So do not be surprised in the East Bay in the next 20 minutes if you see some hail and some very heavy rain. And that's the situation we're dealing with throughout the rest of the morning. These scattered showers and storms will pop up across the region, bring the threat of hail, downpours, even some lightning. We have some strong winds out there. A wind advisory is in effect. Most of us right now, we're gusting over 30 miles per hour, if not close to 50 at SFO. And these winds will stay with us throughout the rest of the morning. So we'll likely see more trees come down and more possible power outages. It's a level 2 moderate storm we have here today with scattered downpours and thunderstorms, gusty winds, and the possibility of more hail falling. The flood threat remains elevated and more trees will come down. Watch future weather. It's just a peppering of showers and downpours throughout the morning and early afternoon. We'll be tracking all of those storms as they move on shore. Just know by the early afternoon, I would say by about 2 p.m., things are winding down, the storms are moving out, and that will lead us to a pretty calm evening with calmer winds. But our next storm will arrive here tomorrow morning, likely after 7 a.m. and through the middle part of our Wednesday. We have more heavy rain moving through and more gusty winds to deal with. Here's the rainfall estimates today and tomorrow, likely seeing 1 to 2 inches in a lot of spots. Highs today in the 50s with that morning rain and wind. Tonight we'll get a brief break overnight with temperatures in the 40s. Here's the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. It is a stormy morning once again. A level 2 today, a level 2 tomorrow at the worst between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. And even over the weekend, we're tracking another level 2 storm, more rain and more wind to start out on Saturday.
Woo, it just never ends.
Doesn't.
Wow, okay. Thank you, Drew. Now we're going to bring in Ginger Z with a look at what's coming up on GMA.
Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you, Kumasi, Reggie. Great to be with both of you this morning. And coming up here on GMA, we start with your state and your region because we've got Matt Rivers still out there in all of the mess and the flooding, and we will keep tracking it. I'm actually going to get into the why, and I know Drew's been covering this, but that long jet stream that comes all the way from Southeast Asia being stubborn and really far south, that's all part of the why of this happening the last few weeks and with no real end in near sight. Then ahead on GMA, President Biden's lawyers revealing that documents marked classified were found in office space that he used as a private citizen. The Justice Department is now reviewing exactly what happened. And the reaction to Prince Harry's memoir and interview with Michael. This morning, you're going to hear what else Harry had to say to Michael about his struggles. And some strategies to make a midlife career change. And Jamie Oliver here sharing some of his one-pot wonders. I just like how he says vitamins, so you should probably tune in.
I was telling Kumasi, Ginger, that I am now making more food at home. So last night I made a delicious stuffed pepper, a vegetarian stuffed pepper, and mwah!
Okay. That sounds good.
It was really
Did you
good.
feel like it came out? Also, are you using like a Blue Apron or HelloFresh or something, or is this real?
No, it's real. Yeah, no, yeah, and I know what you're saying because I used to be that person. But now it's like I went to the grocery store.
That's fine.
Did you know you can go to the grocery store and you buy ingredients? You go home and then you can use a stove.
Yes,
Stove.
yes, stove, oven.
That's how it works.
Arrange.
Arrange. All new words. I love it. 23andMe.
I'm proud of you.
You're your friend.
Thank you. And that is Ginger Z time this morning on ABC7 Mornings. We'll see you at 7.
Keep it up.
Good morning, America. And yes, your CG is below you, as you request. Yeah. Okay, we'll be right back. Yes. Yeah.
We are on storm watch this morning. Here's live Doppler 7. We are tracking that cell that just moved over the city. It brought lightning, it brought hail and some blinding rain. It is moving over Treasure Island as we speak, on its way into the East Bay. So shortly in about 5 minutes, Berkeley, Kensington, even parts of Emeryville, you'll likely see some hail this morning as the cell moves through. We are bouncing around on Sutro Tower. It is a stormy, windy, rainy morning once again. Here's how the day shapes up. Storms in the forecast for the first half of your day, and then later on this afternoon and into the evening will dry out. It's a level 2, a moderate storm on the exclusive ABC7 storm impact scale. Reggie?
Thank you. We have some breaking news in the North Bay. San Rafael police have issued a shelter-in-place order for people on a portion of Mountain View Avenue. Now, they say a power line fell in the area. They want people to stay inside until PG&E can assess that situation. Also want to let you know about high waves and surf in Monterey that were a cause for panic for a group of golfers. They had to run for it while trying to finish up their round on the golf course.
It's gonna hit us, dude. It's gonna hit us. Go, go.
Oh my goodness.
It doesn't seem like a great day to go golfing, but you know, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but look at this.
Look at this.
The big waves hit that golf course. Even the group's golf carts were swamped as the water took over and flooded everything in its path.
Reggie.
Now, why would you be out there so close to the water while you're golfing on a day like this?
Well, you love doing something.
Next at 6:30, what San Francisco Mayor London Breed told us about protecting the city from storm damage. Then how this storm is impacting commuting and living in the Sierra.
Building a better Bay Area. Moving forward, finding solutions. This is ABC7 News.
Now at 6:30, scattered showers across the Bay Area, and some of this is coming down hard. You may see strong winds and rain. Today is a level 2 storm on our storm impact scale.
It's already come down hard for many of us across the Bay Area. There were reported wind gusts of up to 70 miles an hour for some people. So we're tracking when it will come down the hardest and when you can expect a break.
We've seen a lot of bad scenes, and this is among them. The effort to pull 2 vehicles out from a sinkhole in Southern California.
A lot happening this morning, but good morning, everyone. We are glad that you're with us. It's Tuesday, January the 10th.
And Drew, when you talked about hail coming down in the city, now that is something.
Yeah, a lot of people just said they got woken up around 6 a.m. because of the hail, some lightning, and some heavy rain. We're tracking that cell that crossed through the city, and now it's moving into the East Bay right now. We're going down to street level. Here's the cell that brought some hail into San Francisco. There you go. It just updated on Live Doppler 7. Berkeley, if you're watching us from Berkeley, you are likely seeing hail right now. Also some very heavy rain and some very strong winds. This is slowly moving off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So you, of course, want to stay inside until this storm passes over the next 30 minutes, but know that hail is a real possibility throughout the morning. Winds across the region are not letting up. We are gusting 30 to close to 50 miles per hour right now. It is a stormy morning. It's a level 2 moderate storm on the exclusive ABC7 storm impact scale. The threat is for more storms and the strong winds to not let up this morning. Sutro Tower, we are shaking as those winds continue to gust close to 40 miles per hour. Here's how your day shapes up. It is a stormy morning out there. We'll keep the thunderstorm threat in through about 1 p.m. After that, things will calm down. The winds will calm down. The evening is a lot quieter, but our next storm arrives tomorrow. We'll have all the details on what to expect next couple of days in just a few minutes. Reggie?
Drew, thank you. The storm pounded parts of Santa Cruz County especially hard. Many areas in Felton were underwater, and it is tough getting around that area, period. ABC7 News reporter Lena Howland drove there this morning, so she knows exactly what that was like. Hi, Lena.
Hey, Reggie, that's right. We ran into all sorts of problems on our drive up to Felton this morning, not only on Highway 17, but right here behind us on Highway 9. If you take a look, you can see that sheriff's deputies have the highway blocked in both directions. They're telling us that's because this road is just not safe to pass for anyone at this moment because of downed power lines and trees all over the road. We also just saw Caltrans crews arrive on scene. They have been heading in with their plows, and also they're bringing in bulldozers as well as they work to clear some of these trees blocking Highway 9 this morning. I want to show you some drone video now capturing homes completely surrounded by floodwaters from the San Lorenzo River yesterday. The river hit its crest of 24.52 feet right around 7:45 yesterday morning, the second highest mark in modern history, dating back to 1937. We spoke with one man who works in Santa Cruz County and was supposed to go over the hill for work, but he says it just wasn't safe to pass, especially on the smaller roads.
They'll have trees that'll go down over them. They'll get mudslides. When I went through Mount Charlie 6 years ago, I had a tree on one side of me and was looking straight down the cliff on the left side because it had washed out, you know.
Keep in mind there are 2 evacuation centers open for this community. Take a look at your screen right now. One is at the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds in Watsonville, and another is set up at Cabrillo College in Aptos. Both areas are pet friendly and have RV parking. Now, according to the PG&E outage map, as of last check, the power is out here for more than 5,400 customers, and they say that this outage was caused by the weather. Now, PG&E also says that they do have a crew assigned to assess the damage, but at this point in time, they do not have an estimated time of when the power will come back on. Live in Santa Cruz County, Lena Howland, ABC7 News.
Thank you, Lena. Well, the flood warning at the Russian River was canceled early this morning, but that does not mean the danger is over for the people in Guerneville. ABC7 News reporter Gloria Rodriguez is there with an update. Hi, Gloria.
Good morning, Kumasi. You're right about that. Those low-lying areas near the river are still a concern, although there is some relief for residents here in Guerneville this morning with that flood warning being canceled for the Russian River. We had some challenges getting to Guerneville this morning. Check out this footage that we have right here. There was a giant tree that was blocking a river road. This is in Sonoma County, and that's the main road into Guerneville. Officials say it came down about 3 o'clock this morning, and crews have now cleared the road and cleared the tree from the road. And also we want to show you some footage of 2 cars.
We're Guernevillians here. We're used to no power and power outages and floods and stuff like that. So we're hanging pretty tough, and there's a lot of support. We're riding through it. Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
And you heard right there from a resident, a lot of residents, unfortunately, still dealing with some power outages Here in Sonoma County, they do have some information on their website for those residents who have to leave their homes because of flooding. Live in Guerneville, Gloria Rodriguez, ABC7 News.
Gloria, thank you. Highway 101 in Gilroy is back open this morning after flooding caused some major problems yesterday afternoon. Sky 7 is showing one side of the highway totally covered in water. It took some drivers hours to navigate onto Gilroy's city streets. Drivers explained the feelings they had as they tried to get to their destination.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And we were checking the phone. It's closed everywhere. Well, yeah, risk, sure, but I've never seen it like this.
We spoke to had similar reactions. Drivers navigating in both north and south directions had trouble getting to their homes late last night, I should say. And go ahead. In the East Bay, Alameda Creek was rapidly rising yesterday, and the biggest concerns were in Niles Canyon and Sonoma. Thankfully, the creek crested at 1 p.m. and the water levels are lower now, but the creek was flowing really fiercely at the time. The steep canyons in that area leave residents few options to escape in the event of a mudslide or if a tree falls during those high wind gusts. One resident says they've never seen the creek like this since they moved to that area in the late 1960s.
I haven't seen it this high and they're running this fast. No, never this high.
Other residents were staying diligent and keeping an eye on the creek's water level during the day. Thankfully, local fire department and law enforcement crews were on scene to urge residents to evacuate. On the peninsula, residents of a mobile home park are once again dealing with several feet of water. The Belmont Mobile Home Park flooded for the second time in 2 weeks. Residents in the low-lying park that borders Highway 101 and Karen Road say the water began rising when the pumps in the back of the property failed, and they still weren't working yesterday afternoon. The water got so high it spilled across the street and into this gym. The owner of the gym says that caused an estimated $200,000 in damage.
Mats that are 4 foot by 6 foot that are 75 pounds a pop. It was so much water, it lifted the mats from the front of my gym all the way to the back of my gym. The gym's owner says he doesn't understand why the owner of the property hasn't addressed this problem in 10 years. San Francisco Mayor London Breed has issued a retroactive emergency declaration. That declaration will help the city respond to the damage and flooding from these recent storms. This is in preparation for the continued rain that we are expecting to see next week. Mayor Breed spoke with us about this on our 3 p.m. show, Getting Answers, and she says a key factor in being prepared is a joint effort to clear storm drains, especially in flood-prone areas.
We fortunately have a lot of great residents of San Francisco who are taking responsibility and clearing out drains on a regular basis, not just, once when a big storm hits, but just in general. But we also have a lot of city workers, Department of Public Works workers and folks from SFPUC, Public Utilities Commission out there clearing out various storm drains on a regular basis. Mayor Breed also talked about the federal disaster declaration from the White House. She says she's hopeful that will free up funds to reimburse San Francisco for some of the expenses the city faced in the wake of New Year's Eve storm that flooded some roads and businesses. Now we take you to the Sierra. A live look from our Lake Tahoe camera. A winter storm warning and high avalanche dangers are in effect until tomorrow morning, and you can see why. Right now, chains are needed from Twin Bridges to Myers on Highway 50. Palisades had to shut down multiple lifts and trails because of lightning. Kirkwood also had to close yesterday because of wind gusts that reach 80 miles per hour. Flash flooding in Los Angeles County is stranding drivers. Fire crews rescued 4 people in Chatsworth from a large sinkhole that swallowed 2 vehicles last night. A car fell into the sinkhole first, followed by a pickup truck that fell in afterward. The 2 people from the car trapped underneath that truck were hoisted out and brought to safety with only minor injuries. The people in the pickup truck were able to get out on their own. While you're on the go this week, we're giving you important alerts to your phone, just like this one, through our ABC7 News app. It has hour-by-hour forecasts from our meteorologists right down to your neighborhood. You can download the app now and be sure to enable push notifications. Happening today, Governor Gavin Newsom is set to unveil the state's latest budget proposal. In Jabina, this all is coming with a possible shift in tone as experts say we could be facing a tough economic forecast in the new year.
It's really incredible, Kumasi. So Governor Newsom is expected to lay out the latest state budget proposal this morning in just a few hours at a live news conference. And according to experts here, the state government is projected to face a large $24 billion deficit Yes, you heard me correctly, deficit, because this comes after last year's $100 billion surplus budget. So a big difference here. The Sacramento Bee reports if the deficit is revealed during the news conference this morning, Newsom is expected to offer solutions to fill the gap in the budget. The proposal will prompt state lawmakers to negotiate for a balanced budget, which is required by law. The shortfall does have the potential to affect funding for a bunch of the state's high priority projects, including transportation, health and human services, and unhoused relations projects. Those are among those that are in jeopardy. So we'll see what happens this morning. Reggie.
Thank you, Jobina. Still to come, if you have to drive in this weather, there are some things you can do to stay a little bit safer. We're going to break down those tips.
Then more great news in the recovery of Damar Hamlin. He's now back in Buffalo just a week after he almost died on the field.
And stay with us on the ABC7 Bay Area streaming app at 7 a.m. for ABC7 at 7. We're going to have more weather coverage, of course, as you get through this morning commute that is once again wet.
Yeah, it's wet, it is windy, we have hail in some spots this morning. One location was the city, another location was Berkeley. We're watching that cell as it slowly crosses the East Bay. Here it is, moving through the Oakland Hills right now. Some heavy rain and the threat for hail. This is pretty much going to cross Highway 4 between Martinez and Pleasant Hill over the next 30 minutes. And this is the threat we're under for the rest of the morning. More showers, more downpours are forming off the coast. More lightning strikes are there. So the thunderstorms are in the forecast at least through 1 p.m. today. Right now, winds are pretty strong in a lot of areas. We're gusting 30 to 50 miles per hour for the most part, and the winds will stay with us for the morning and the early afternoon. Here's future weather, 8 a.m. We just have a peppering of showers and storms out there, a flood watch in effect for the entire region today, because if you get underneath one of these downpours, the rain is heavy enough that it will create pockets of new flooding later on today. But by about, I would say, 2 p.m., this storm is out of here, but our next storm will move in here for Wednesday. Today, it's rain and wind and thunderstorms this morning. It is a level 2 on the storm impact scale. Also be aware, a high surf warning is in effect today. We're going to see waves 20 to 25 feet. That will also create some flooding close to the coastline. We'll take a look at the 7-day forecast coming up in 8 minutes. Let's check in with Jobina and see how we're doing with traffic.
Thank you, Drew. Good morning, everyone. So right where Drew showed us all of that rain moving through the East Bay right now, that's near where we're seeing some of our major problems on the roads. We're going to start with a large SIG alert, multiple cars and injuries involved in this crash in Hercules on westbound 80 right at westbound 4. Your speeds have dropped to around 6 miles per hour in this area. In Walnut Creek, we are looking at down power lines in trees on eastbound Ignacio Valley Road between Homestead to San Carlos. All of that is closed right now until further notice. Then moving over to the South Bay, we still have a SIG alert in effect because of roadway flooding on 280. This is right at Bird Avenue. The CHP is saying about 3 feet of water in that area. System-wide with BART, you're going to want to add about 20 minutes to your planned travel time because trains are running at slower speeds. Unfortunately, it looks like our Walnut Creek camera froze. I wonder if it's being impacted at all by the rain moving through that area, but you can see the droplets on the camera there. And also it's still starting to come down at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. Metering lights came on at 5:42 and the CHP is reporting a stall right before the toll plaza. So expect delays for that commute as well. We'll be right back.
In 3, 2. I'm ABC7 News meteorologist Drew Tumo with the AccuWeather forecast. A level 2 moderate storm on the exclusive ABC7 storm impact scale this morning. We have rain, we have wind, we have thunderstorms. Things will quiet down after 2 p.m. this afternoon. Tonight, mainly overcast skies with temperatures in the 40s. Here's the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Another level 2 storm arrives here tomorrow. The worst between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. and then more wet weather over the weekend. Three, two. I'm ABC7 News meteorologist Drew Toon with your AccuWeather forecast. A level 2 moderate storm on the storm impact scale today. Rain and wind this morning. Things will calm down after 2 p.m. AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Another level 2 storm tomorrow and more rain this weekend.
Some of you may have no choice but to drive somewhere today, and if that is the case, there are some things you can do to be a little safer behind the wheel.
Yep, and Jobina is joining us with that. Hey, Jobina.
Hey, okay, so since we're experiencing unprecedented rain, we thought this would be a good time for some reminders. So check out this video. This is a 101 in Gilroy yesterday, completely flooded out. Some people decided to drive through the standing water and didn't make it. You should never drive through standing water, and because, let me just show you why. This is an extreme example, but according to the National Weather Service, 6 inches of water will reach the bottom of most passenger cars, causing you to lose control, possibly stall as well, and a foot of water will float many vehicles. So one thing that is going right in this last video here, I want to point out, the headlights on. If you have your headlights on, windshield wipers should be on. If your windshield wipers are on, the headlights need to be on when it's raining. That is the law. So this is also a time when you're driving like this and it's just moderate rain. Hydroplaning is common. Water just has to be over 1/10 of an inch for your vehicle to hydroplane. So if you do, take your foot off the gas rather than slamming on the brakes, and don't steer erratically. Just try to ride it out the best you can. And of course, avoid the roads entirely if you can. That is the messaging this morning. Reggie.
Thank you, Jobina. Public schools in San Francisco have felt the impact of these recent storms. Custodians have become the unsung heroes, working around the clock to keep classes from being disrupted. People like Miguel Cuellar, who works at McKinley Elementary, he's been working to address issues before students arrive every day. Although sometimes it happens in the middle of the day, like it did yesterday in the cafeteria right at lunchtime.
Started coming this way. Inside that room too, all along the wall.
The New Year's one, that ceiling tile collapsed down because it was so wet, and then these are just getting wetter and wetter, and we're just putting buckets and waiting for them to fall and keeping kids away from there.
Many of the district schools have been experiencing similar situations. When this classroom was flooded after water came in through the door, Cuellar dug a mini ditch to force the standing water on the outside to flow back into the ground. He says he's really looking forward to the end of the wet season.
The 15-year-old charged with murdering a security guard in San Francisco's Japantown last Wednesday is denying all charges. According to our media partners at the SF Standard, the boy appeared in the Juvenile Justice Center on Monday. His public defender denied all charges on his behalf. She also requested a gag order on future hearings aimed at limiting press and public knowledge of the proceedings. In the meantime, the court ruled that the boy would continue to be detained at the juvenile hall.
New developments on a story we've been following for more than a month. San Francisco police made an arrest in an assault that happened on a Muni bus. On December 3rd, a person kicked a 79-year-old woman in the stomach. It was another Muni passenger. So she was leaving the bus. Sorry, she was getting on the bus. He was leaving the bus when this all happened. Police announced a 17-year-old who was already in custody in Contra Costa County on an unrelated charge has now been charged with aggravated assault for this bus attack.
For the first time, police in Newport News, Virginia are explaining what happened after a 6-year-old shot a teacher at school. The police chief shared what he says 25-year-old teacher Abby Zwerner recalled from her hospital bed, saying the boy approached her without warning and pointed the gun. She says she raised her hand, but the boy pulled the trigger, sending a bullet through her hand and into her upper chest. Police say another staffer jumped in to stop the boy. The chief says before getting any medical help, Zwerner made sure the rest of the class got to safety first.
Mrs. Werner was the last person to leave that class, and then she stopped. And she turned around. She turned around to make sure that every one of those students was safe.
Investigators say the 9mm handgun was brought to school in a backpack. It was legally purchased by the boy's mother, and it's not clear how he got it.
Virgin Orbit's stock has plummeted after its first UK rocket failed to launch. The company launched a rocket from a modified Boeing 747 yesterday. Now, I said failed to launch. It did launch. The problem was it didn't reach orbit, and it didn't deploy the 9 satellites it was supposed to. Virgin Orbit says there was a, quote, anomaly after the rocket launch, and it failed to reach orbit. As I mentioned, this launch was originally planned for late last year. It got postponed due to technical and regulatory issues.
Steph Curry may finally return to the lineup for the Warriors tonight. He's listed as questionable for tonight's game at Chase Center against Phoenix. He hasn't played since injuring his shoulder on December 14th. The team originally said he was probable for tonight. Tip-off is at 7.
Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin is back in Buffalo, another big step in his remarkable recovery. The 24-year-old arrived at Buffalo General Medical Center yesterday after being discharged from the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. This is just a week after Hamlin went into cardiac arrest and collapsed on the field.
Time now 6:51, and we're checking in with Drew.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I was just updating the graphic because we still have a pretty strong cell that I want to highlight right now. This moving through the East Bay, just zoom on down. It's moving towards the 4680 interchange right now. There you can see those deep reds on your screen, just indicating we're seeing a heavy rain. We're also seeing some hail out there. So please just be aware of that this morning. That's the threat we have as we go throughout the next 6 to 8 hours. Live Doppler 7 showing you we are in and out of wet weather today, and underneath any of these showers or storms, we could see new pockets of flooding. We've already seen hail this morning, and lightning is a concern as well, along with some very gusty winds this morning. Earlier, we had winds gusting close to 70 miles per hour. That knocked out power to a lot of folks along the peninsula and then the South Bay especially. Winds right now, we're gusting close to 50 in some of our strongest spots. And winds remain active this morning. It's not until the later afternoon and early evening that the winds will finally back off. So do anticipate more trees down and more power outages. It's a level 2 moderate storm on the exclusive ABC7 storm impact scale for the threat of flooding and the threat of more trees coming down. Here's future weather. We're in and out of the stormy weather this morning. It's not until 2 p.m. things will calm down, leading to a quiet evening. But our next storm arrives tomorrow morning after 8 a.m. and we will see pockets of a heavy rain throughout the afternoon. So we're tracking rainfall estimates between 1 and 2 inches for a lot of us. That is enough rain over the next 2 days to do more flooding. Here's a look at highs today. It's rainy, it is winding. We have thunderstorms out there right now. Highs today in the 50s. Again, after 2 p.m. things will start to calm down tonight. We have overcast skies. It's mainly quiet. Temperatures in the 40s, but our next storm arrives tomorrow morning. Here's the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. It's a level 2, a stormy morning here today. Another level 2 tomorrow at the worst between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Thursday, the best chances in the North Bay. Then everyone sees light rain on Friday. And then Saturday, it's another level 2 with rain and wind, guys.
All right, thank you, Drew. Happening today, this is a one for you music fans because tickets for Bottle Rock go on sale at noon.
And as usual, they are expected to go fast. 3-day passes start at $389. Headliners include Post Malone, Lil Nas X, and Lizzo. Also Red Hot Chili Peppers, Duran Duran, Smashing Pumpkins. Bottle Rock is set for Memorial Day weekend in May at the Napa Valley Expo. Organizers say this year more than 75 bands will be playing on 5 music stages. Girl, I'm about to have a panic attack. I did the work, it didn't work. No?
Sorry, friend, sorry.
Thank you. Yes, I'm ready.
Sorry, friend. Sorry.
To be loved. You don't know
To
this?
be loved. Oh, Lord. Y'all can back up, too?
Yeah, I'm ready. A little Lizzo for you.
I'm going to get it together.
Will she know?
Are we still friends?
We are still friends, but I'm sad.
Barely.
I mean, it's hanging on.
Love me anyway.
Ain't her fault. She's
I
just
do.
out here getting juice. Blame it on the juice.
Yada, yada.
Blame it on the juice. Yada, yada.
They have all the hits over here.
Yada,
5 seconds, we gotta stop. She's gonna sue
Yes.
us.
You got the Lizzo corner. There's a Lizzo corner right there. Okay.
Somebody come get this man. He got lost in my DMs. What?
My DMs.
What?
Look, we've been on since 4, and we just needed a little bit of a stretch.
Some fun.
Up next is 7 things you need to know today.
Reminder, you can watch all of our newscasts live and on demand through the ABC7 Bay Area Connected TV app. It's available for Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku. And download the app now. You can start streaming.
And as we head to break, we're going to take a live look outside. It is snowing, coming down right now in the Sierra. We'll be right back.
Ain't my fault, I just have to get loose, gotta blame it on the juice.
It is 6:58. If you're just joining us, here are the 7 things to know this morning, starting with Drew.
Number 1, another stormy morning with scattered showers across the region. Live Doppler 7 showing you some scattered downpours. We're underneath this threat through about 2 p.m. Winds are strong as well, gusting close to 50 at SFO this morning. It's a level 2, a moderate storm on the storm impact scale now through 2 p.m.
Number 2, we do have one positive update for your commute. That major SIG alert we were following in Hercules has cleared, but you can clearly tell that the large backup persists here on westbound 80. Right at westbound 4, your speeds are tracking around 17 miles per hour there.
Number 3, more than 92,000 PG&E customers are in the dark right now. Crews are working to restore power to those areas, and we are seeing quite a few outages in Santa Cruz County and along the peninsula, some also in the South Bay.
Number 4, a flood warning for the Russian River was canceled early this morning. However, there's still quite a bit of flooding in Sonoma County communities, including Guerneville.
Number 5, there is a lot of trouble on Highway 17 in the Santa Cruz Mountains. It started yesterday when a mudslide closed the highway, and this morning we're seeing downed trees and other issues, so your best bet is to plan another route.
Number 6, a disaster in Santa Barbara County. A 5-year-old was washed away in floodwaters, and thousands have been evacuated because of the threat of mudslides due to all this rain.
Number 7, Governor Newsom is giving an update on the state's storm response later this morning. We will be streaming that for you live on our ABC7 Bay Area apps, and we'll send you out a push alert so you know when it starts.
Ooh.
I'm still not over this hail that people experience in San Francisco, and now it's moving over to the East Bay.
East Bay now, working to Pleasant Hill, and there's more of that likely between now and 2 p.m. Everyone's fair game for a storm.
More streaming coverage next.